The president started out as a chief clerk. However, even then, we know it wasn't exact. It wasn't like the president only had those powers. Those were the president's primary powers. Now, this wasn't really enough for the president, right? That was much of the point of having checks and balances. Ambition would check ambition. So a president should be ambitious, should try to expand the executive, and then there will be pushback from the other branches as needed. Now, during World War I and World War II, the president expanded his own foreign relations powers quite a bit. We really started looking at the president as a focal point for this sort of national coordination during a war effort. Cold War brought even more of this. So we got used to seeing the president leading the military, right? Not literally in the field, but telling us where the troops were going to go, what was going to happen, and what threats were being made to our country and how we were going to stand up to them. Now, this mostly comes from the first mover advantage. Because the president commands the military, he's commander-in-chief of the armed forces, the president acts first. So he can command the military, go to country X. And Congress really is going to have to support that. Technically, Congress could say, no, Mr. President, we're not going to fund this. You can't leave our troops there. We're not going to pay for that. And we haven't declared war, so no. The thing is if they say that, the president's going to be like, yeah, but they're already there. And what, you're going to leave them there without equipment, without money, without food and body armor and whatever else we need for the military? I don't think so. Congress is going to be like, yeah, but you can't just do that. President's going to be like, yeah, I already did. And because the president is a focal point for national politics, because there's just one president and 435 House members and 100 senators, it's much easier for the president to get on TV and say to the public, hey, this is what's happened. I support our troops. I want to defend democracy. And Congress is willing to just leave our boys and girls overseas out in the line of fire without any funding, without weapons. They're just leaving them there to die, right? Obviously, that's a bit of hyperbole there. I'm exaggerating a bit. But that kind of move is something the president can do and Congress can't. That's because the president has the ability to move first. Now, the War Powers Act of 1973 actually further expanded this. The idea was that the president, if he moved troops, would then have to get that cleared by Congress, and if Congress didn't approve it, he would bring the troops back. But what it really did is just codified the first mover advantage and said the president can move stuff before Congress even finds out. And it gave a 30-day window before he even had to notify Congress. If you think about technology today, 30 days is an awfully long time to do things. So this all together from World War II through to present, and certainly through the War Powers Act, normalized the idea of the president as a figurehead for national and military sort of endeavors. And that normalized this idea of a big president, right? A president who's going to be a focal point for us, who's going to organize us, who's going to rally the country. So that was one way that the presidency expanded.